at one point Puff had the ability to avert some of the East Coast, West Coast shit? Maybe you could explain that a little better?
Well, when, at this time, but we were just talking about Pac is dead, but before Pac died, Suge Knight and them was starting what they call Death Row East.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
The president of Death Row East wasn't going to be Tupac. The president was going to be Eric B.
That makes sense. Rakim,
and Craig Mack was going to be their first artist.
Wow.
You understand?
Wow, that would have been interesting to see that.
So he was going to leave Bad Boy to go to Death Row East?
He was already left Bad Boy.
Okay.
He hadn't been with Bad Boy for 2 years. You understand? A year or two. Him and Big didn't like him and all. It was a bunch of bullshit, in-house bullshit.
Right.
So Craig Mack was going to be their first, it was going to be Big D, Eric B, and Craig Mack. Big D was a dude that was big in the streets in Harlem, Queens, New York, period.
Right.
Good dude. You understand what I'm saying? Solid brother, was respected in and out the streets, the prison system, the whole 9 yards.
What's up, Mike?
Hey!
What's up? What's up, dude?
Michael always has to come say hi.
Fist
bump, G.
Oh, gonna be a boxer.
Yes, I am.
With the presidential. One thing I always ask myself, I got a lot of friends that do like a lot of executive protection type work. At any point, do you come to terms with the fact that I might have to put my life on the line for this guy or these people? Is that a real thing, or you just kind of put it in the back of your mind like that ain't gonna happen?
Man, listen here, man. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. You understand?
Prevention the best.
Nothing beats an ambush. You always on point. You always on ready. You understand?
When you out of state, out of lines, kind of on the other side, it's like not so much is under my control. So like going out there, that risk is always going to be enhanced. It's more exposure when you out of town, right?
Yeah, but still in all, I don't know, man, but I never went out of my house not thinking it couldn't happen.
Right.
Even today.
Right.
I don't think I'm not the type of guy that, just say when I go out on dates, I've been out on dates with people and stuff like that, and I'm like this. and a girl might walk by and, you so disrespectful. Why you always... If you notice, I'm always looking.
I'm holding it down.
You know what I'm saying? You just don't understand. It can happen at any time at anybody.
That's a fact.
I don't care who it is. And people, you got to be, it's sad that you have to live like that during your time, but when you've been in law enforcement and you've been in security, it is what it is.
Right.
You understand? And I just lived like that. But to get back to what you were saying,
the Death Row East.
The Death Row East Coast thing was, it was going to be a legitimate, and Eric B came out and talked about it and said, yes. He said the same thing that I said. But prior to that is that Eric Von Zip had called Puff when we were in California. And Suge Knight and all them was in New York, and they wanted to squash the East Coast, West Coast beef shit.
And again, this is before Pac's death.
Before Pac's death. You understand? Puff got a call from Haitian Jack.
Yeah, the infamous.
You know what I'm saying? Haitian Jack. And Haitian Jack could attest to this. He called Zip back and said, y'all making me look bad because all them was partying with Suge Knight and the Death Row people at the Mirage and different places and stuff like that. You understand? So Zip was telling him, man, we trying to squash this bullshit and everything like that. Right. Just give me or you send somebody, you understand, the right to speak for you so we can squash this shit.
Right.
And everything like that. Puff wouldn't give him that right.
Damn. So you had members from the East, members from the West, and all they wanted to do was bring Puff along to sit down and make sure everything was cool, and he ain't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it. He thought he was going to owe somebody something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't want to get into that.
So do you think, because you know how the theory goes, do you think that Puff was looking to benefit from Big not being there, maybe had something to deal with it, or was just turning a blind eye and figured that, just he was too big for that to happen to him?
Bro, I can't speak for what another man could think or what another man may know. I can only speak from what I know and what I believe. And I didn't see that at that time.
Yeah. Man.
So, poor judgment and your guys and your guests, if you had to guess, like,
You can't say poor judgment because I can't speak for another man's thought process. You understand? But would I have either made it or would I have sent somebody that was at like mind as myself and understood like myself? Wolf was in the city. He wasn't in California with us. You know, at the time, it was just me and Puff. You understand? He was shooting that billboard, I think, that billboard thing. It was either Billboard or either, what's the other big magazine at the time?
Source.
No. The other big white
Vibe?
magazine. It was Billboard and
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I love how he goes.
Oh, man.
You know, you say this is a show, we gotta keep it 100. Like, act like you act, talk like you talk. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, he could have sent Wolf.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Wolf would have made sure that everything was, copacetic, whereas that nobody was giving up nothing, nobody had to do nothing and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, with everything that has transpired, what we had in front of us today was a huge day with the Diddy trial and them mentioning that. And I don't know much about it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the most informed of the trial. I try to focus on everything in my life, my children, my family, my business, and things of that nature. But I do hear it, right? But today was a big day with, I believe the verdict was reached on 4 or 5 counts.
Yeah, but let's get back to what you said before you left. I think that, I know this is your show and everything, but you said something about the Mace thing. Yeah, I really want to address that.
Okay, I thought
about the issue.
Perfect. I thought you talked about it. That's why.
No, we didn't.
Okay,
because he came with another question. Then he came with another question.
Okay, perfect.
Outside of what you want to do, but I don't want to not get to your question.
Absolutely,
like that,
I appreciate that.
And I know this is your show, sir, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know I just want to.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
I get so much flack from that. You understand? Like, why did you take the gun from D-Rock? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? The whole 9 yards. If you allow me to walk you through it, before Big got murdered, you know what I'm saying, then I would like to do that if it's okay
Absolutely,
with you.
yes.
All right. So,
turn the mic over a little bit so it's like you could point it. Yep, there you go.
All right. So now when we were up in the club, right? We were up in the club and everything like that, and the fire department get ready to shut down the building, stuff like that. So when the fire department come, I'm thinking we're sitting ducks if we go outside and wait for the cars to come to us. You understand? It's a crowd of people run up in the crowd. Pow! What people gonna do? They're gonna scatter. Everybody. You understand? Something like that. So now I say to myself, you understand, let me go and put the trucks downstairs. You understand what I'm saying? That particular time I had 3 weapons. I gave Paul a weapon when we was at the house. Paul is the head of security, Green Gate Security, stuff like that. So I gave him one of my weapons and everything like that when we was at the house, before we left the house. So now I got a weapon on my side. I got one on my ankle. You know, your weapon on your ankle is your last resort. You know what I'm saying? If you run out at the top, you understand, like that, and you're in a situation, you go to your ankle. You know what I'm saying? So now, I give Big's man, D-Rock, Brooklyn guy, one of my guns. And I say, yo, watch Big. I'll be right back. You understand? I didn't want to leave them naked or nothing like that. You understand? So I say, watch Big. And I know Paul got a gun, and they got the other security up there, but I'm telling D-Rock, because that's his man. Watch Big, I'll be right back. I run downstairs, make sure the cars is in front. So as soon as we go out, we go straight to the cars, and we can get out of there.
Be out of there.
You understand? That's something security-minded. You don't wait for nobody. We never, ever waited for anybody at any time when we was in New York City. Why the hell are we doing it in California? So now, I come back upstairs. I get my weapon from D-Rock, put it back on my side. That's my weapon. You understand? I don't know if D-Rock had a gun or not. That's not for me to know. You understand? If you know we're going out to California and your man got beef, because you know he got beef, because he didn't, Big had said, I don't know why y'all letting them dog pound and parking them over there shooting a video in Red Hook and they van go get shot up. So if you think California guys are gonna let you come to California after you done put that type of energy out there and not do nothing, these fight over colors. You done shot up they Winnebago and everything. You think ain't nothing gonna happen? Why would you come out there and you don't have nothing but just for the sake of things, not knowing, not caring? I just gave him my weapon and just said, yo, watch Big. So when I come back, any thinking, man, what they gonna do? They gonna get their gun back, especially from a Brooklyn.
Yeah, let me get my piece back, bro.
Especially from a Brooklyn. This is the flag, and this is what, yo, why you got ignorant guys on the internet, why you take the gun back from D-Rock? Well, why D-Rock didn't have his own gun? I don't know if D-Rock had a gun or not. I didn't care. I'm just looking out because I'm leaving Big and them upstairs with them. So when we get back downstairs, we all get in the car. Come on, let's go. Puff light. Yo, hold up. He going around getting girls. Yo, Gene, like he was doing upstairs, remember her for the pool party tomorrow. Remember her from the pool party tomorrow. Remember that from the pool party tomorrow. Just bringing girls to Big and bring girls up to me. I'm like, what? We never did that shit before. So we line up on the sidewalk. When we line up on the sidewalk, that's when this Muslim guy, first a guy come down in a blue and white shirt. He comes down strangely, because nobody on that side of the theater. We're the only one on that side of the theater. Everybody else is on the other side. The police, the ambulance, the fire department, everybody's on the other side. We're the only one on that side. So this guy just come out the blue in a blue and white shirt. So I keep my eye on him. He walks through. I say something to Paul. That was it. Now, we pull out in the driveway. We in the driveway now. So this guy and the Muslim start coming down. The Muslim guy start coming down the street. When he start coming down the street, I'm behind one of the pillows. It was a pillow right there at the time. They didn't change the whole thing now. So I'm behind the pillow, but I see him coming down the street. So I'm just counting steps in my mind. So when I think like he done took about 20 steps, he should be like 3 to 4 car lengths from Puff. I just come off around the pillow with my gun like this. He looks at me. I look at him. He walks back down the street. You understand?
Yeah.
So he's out of sight. So we lined up the cars on side the Peterson Museum. And so then we right in front of Big's car. We right in front of Big's car. Paul comes up to me. I said, Paul, you ready to go? He said, yeah, we ready. I said, all right, cool, follow us. So then I go to my car where Puff is at, because Puff is my principal. You understand? I get on the side of the car, right? I get on the side of the car. So they had the guardrails on those Suburbans. At that time, I'm 265 pounds. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm a whole body than that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back then, I'm light enough. You know what I'm saying? So Puff said to me, Gene, get in the car. I said, why? He said, Gene, we don't need that. I said, how you gonna tell me how to do my job, man? You know what I'm saying? He said, Gene, if you don't get in this car, you ain't gonna never work for Bad Boy again. I said, I might not never work for Bad Boy anyway. He said, Gene, get in the car. I said, yo, so I get in the car, and as soon as I get in the car, he pulls the seat back. So I'm like this now. I said, man, what the fuck is you doing? I said, yo, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Run the next 3 lights. I'm like, Kenny. He said, why? I said, Kenny, run the next 3 lights or let me drive. And Kenny just took off. Right? The reason I said run the next 3 lights, here go God working again. 2 weeks before I went to that California thing, I took what you call an interrogation and surveillance class done by the DEA. The DEA said, in that surveillance in that class, they said, if you want to know somebody following you, make 3 rights. Where you at when you make 3 rights?
Same.
Yeah,
Same
You back where you
You
started.
back where you started at. You understand what I'm saying? He said, run 3 lights or run 3 lights or take 3 rights. That's what they said in the class. They also taught you how to interrogate somebody. You understand? They taught you how to do surveillance, and they taught you how to do surveillance so you ain't seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what came to my mind. Can you run the next 3 lights? So anybody know, and if y'all all went to the club together before, and I can go around this room, and I bet you I get the same response from each and every one of y'all. You understand? And I want y'all to be totally honest right now. You understand? Listen, y'all all went to the club together, right? He run the light, what you gonna do?
I'm gonna run the light.
He run the light, what you gonna do?
Run that light.
Yo, my man, he run the light, what you gonna do?
Did that a few times.
We all gonna run the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did this shit a couple weeks ago. So when
You
I left the
understand?
club, yeah.
Anybody know we all gonna get the ticket?
Or the last man.
We all the last man. We all go, and if we see the police pulling them over, what we gonna do?
We all
going.
pulling over.
No, we all gonna pull over.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I'm pulling over.
Unless you got some warrants.
I got to go.
He got
I
warrants.
can't be
we
seen.
stay-
I
we
love
stay-
you, but I can't.
Yeah, we
be
came
seen.
together. We stay together. Yeah.
They got you, not me.
Anybody
But
know
yeah.
that's how we roll. That's how we do. I've asked some women on my show. I got my own show, Gene Deal Show. The women said the same thing. We all gonna run the light.
Right.
Big driver stayed at the light. The dude pulled out the parking space. It was no drive-by, brother. It was never drive-by. And everybody in here always thought it was a drive-by, right?
I
Yeah.
remember hearing that.
How they
yeah.
pull up next to him and yeah.
Because y'all heard them white boys tell y'all that. That dude was parked there all night. He was parked there all night. And the Muslim dude who walked down to me,
Scoping.
that's the dude who killed Big.
Damn.
Wow.
So now we passed the light.
But he said
Mom-
he walked up the Puff first, right?
He walked up the car first. That's when I stepped out and had the hammer and showed him.
Yeah. Listen.
You know what I'm saying? The dude looked me dead in the face. God is good again. Because I was on, when we was on tour, I was in the tour truck with Farrakhan's son, Mustafa. I didn't know shit about the Muslim nation, brother. I was new to it. I was dumbfounded. So I'm very inquisitive where I don't know something, I want to know. And he told me, he said, yo, we teach the young men to humble themselves. That's the first thing we teach them, how to humble themselves. And when a Muslim look you in the eye, he's supposed to say the proverbial words of Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
That dude who dressed like a Muslim, looked like a Muslim, that I assumed that was a Muslim, didn't say a damn word to me. He just turned around and went the other way. He didn't say, damn, brother, what's the hostility?
Right.
He didn't say, Assalamu alaikum, Kayf halak, hamdalillah.
None of that.
He didn't say none of that.
He's not a friend.
He looked me in my eye, looked down at my gun, and walked the other way. So now, Tone, who's behind me, and I'm sideways, he say, somebody got a gun and pointing at Big them. The car's right there on the corner. Now, instead of Kenny stopping the car and put it in reverse or doing a U-turn when Tone said that, he said, somebody pointing a gun at Big them. Him supposed to be security who's driving. He's supposed to stop the car, turn around. We don't need to hear no more. They point a gun at Big. When he heard that, he didn't do none of that. He said, what'd you say, Tone? Then we go, pow, 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 pow. Just speed the car. I'm like, Tone, what the fuck is you doing? Turn this around, Tone. You know what he said? We don't know who he's shooting at. I'm telling Kenny that. Sorry about that, John.
That's good.
So he panicked.
He started flying. He then stopped. After I'm screaming at him, he turns back around. He turns and he stops dead in front of Big's car. Me and Puff run out, and I'm behind Puff, no Diddy, and
God damn.
Nobody safe.
That's like the greatest timing ever.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
so I'm on, and then Tone said, yo, Gene, come on. Me and Tone jumped in our Suburban now, and we start trying to chase the guy. And we was following, and Tone just took the right turn, and then we seemed like we was going up a hill, like up there. And when we got up there, we didn't see shit, nobody.
And then the driver of Big's car ran off at that
This
time?
put the car in park, jumps out and run. Every door in Big car was open except his. So you had time enough to put the car in park?
That's the worst part.
You understand what I'm saying? When you heard that first shot, you knew it was where it was coming from. You could have just crashed the car. That would have stopped the driver at least. You could have just crashed the car. He put the car in park and jumped out and ran. Everybody in Big's car ran. Except Big.
And the driver is no just driver, it's security.
No, it wasn't. It was just one of Big's dudes.
Okay.
G Money. He wasn't security at all.